Okay. So I'm going to start off by saying I'm not a big Lara Croft super fan or anything like that. I have seen all the movies. I think the second one was entertaining. The second Angelina Jolie one. Um, and I have not beaten any of the games. The first game, I made some progress in it, but that's not very much. But even I know that the first game has a Tyrannosaurus Rex in it. So I thought this was just pretty classic to do. Just make a Lara Croft, who obviously is not really Lara Croft. It's just, you know, has some of her characteristics. And the left is Super Grok, which I have a lot more experience with. And the right one is Higgsfield Kling 3.0. These are three video clips. I didn't realize that I had Super Grok set on 10-second clips, so there's three 10-second clips. It's a little bit unfair because it's three 5-second clips from the Higgs field. So they're both 720p. The ratio, this is 2-to-1 ratio and 16:9, so pretty similar. And the same starting image. So all videos start with the same starting image, which I just uploaded to their website. And there's obviously multiple ways we could do this. Let's just do play one, then play Super Grok, then play Higgsfield, then I'll run them both together with the sound off. And it's just for comparison purposes. Obviously, my opinions are not necessarily going to agree with yours. Everyone has different priorities. Um, well, people tend to have all kinds of different priorities and stuff as far as what they're looking for. It's a matter of taste. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Blah 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 blah. Personal preference, etc. Okay. So without further ado, this is not about VOC Media Player versus Windows Media Player. We are not. If I can not get into that, I'll try not to get into that because that's kind of a different topic altogether. So anyway, it's just so that I can play them side by side. All right. So let's do Super Grok. Go. Oops. So it's the same prompt for all of them. She's running, and then a T-Rex appears. Okay. I didn't say it roars or anything like that. I didn't say it breaks the trees. Oh, no detail. She almost slips on the. Okay. So that's that one. I said intense music. Yeah, basically she runs towards the camera moves back at around the same speed, and a Tyrannosaurus Rex appears behind her and chases after her, and intense music, something like that. All right, it's the same prompt. I think you'll find that easy to believe because it's true and it's pretty clear. Okay, so let's do now the Higgs field on the right. I would say maybe the running is more convincing there. And that you got that saturation, light saturation stuff. And that one too. Holy cow, that's it. It flies by because it's like half the length. Okay. So this whole filter stuff that they're doing is different, and I don't see that with Super Grok like ever. I think the sound is good in both. It's funny, kind of funny to me because the another comparison I was doing, like I just said pleasant music, and there was some kind of like goofy stuff on the Higgs field, but here intense music, pretty straightforward. We can kind of stop at different points. I think essentially we are better off on the right. And that's too surprising to me because I'm basically biased towards Super Grok. But I don't do a lot of action scenes or whatever. I do other stuff. So I would say action scenes, like the way she gets, like she accelerates, gets into her um kind of her top speed or running speed is better on the right. She doesn't have like this painful look on her eyes. Like she's in pain so much, like it looks like uncomfortable. The face change is always something that I'm going to talk about. Like in my last kind of time, last time I was analyzing, could do a comparison like this. I really got into the face because the face to me is super important. Because like if they look like a different person, like later on in the video, then it's just kind of weird. So the let's just stop at different points and do some comparisons. So definitely a change in the face. You could say that she's softer, but I really on Higgsfield, but I really like how she's more prominent, takes up a bigger portion of the screen. And I think again, like her acceleration in the beginning, the running, it just looks more natural. I think she's maybe has less excessive, twisting motion. There's some twisting motion here. The face, but the face is, I think, this is more similar. I don't really complain about this face. It's not ugly, of course, obviously. It's not, I mean, there's just kind of like the discomfort in her face. Maybe they're taking more liberties here, but they're good liberties as far as deviating from the original image. The lighting, I really like it. I think this is a real modern kind of um, filter, if you want to call it. I really am quite there. She looks on average, kind of more full, has more fullness in her face, and maybe it looks a little younger. Um, there she's got like the fear, which is good. That looks good. I mean, again, she's maybe more looks more older, but definitely not old. I mean, like she's in her 20s. Like we're talking like mid 20s versus early 20s or something maybe. She does look a little older on this version. Okay. This is really nice though because it's different. It's modern. It's just taking a liberty and saying, "Here, check this out. Like you didn't expect this, did you? Like isn't this so much better than you were kind of picturing in your head?" So I do like that kind of more face stuff. There you got like this alert, um, kind of look like this is life or death, like running for your life, literally, like that's cool. I like that. I think I'm more into that expression than the whole. I don't like to let them to look like they're uncomfortable, you know. I think this makes it more of kind of visceral. This is real, like I just like maybe the creature is smaller here, but it's kind of more kind of, you know, i- immediate, like more kind of like scary, really. This is maybe looks like more like a really more into it. And like the bursting of the trees. So, and there may be some here where it just basically says, and then this one had the one where she kind of has to like, kind of there's a tripping hazard there that she has to kind of get around, right? I think it's in the third. Okay, so there's branches getting pushed aside. There's some physics there. I would say the foliage is probably the same. It's just there's like this level of detail. But it's just that you've got this filter which really just kind of makes it feel like, oh, this is new. This is kind of a fresh kind of, yeah. I like that. Okay, so we talked about the faces a little bit. I think it's pretty consistent. If you want kind of more, she's kind of has a fuller face with Higgsfield and kind of a more athletic, kind of leaner, more kind of heart shaped face um, with the Super Grok upper body. I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, it's like center of screen. Legs, pretty similar. No kind of liberties there taken. The foliage again, we can kind of get into some more. Okay, obviously not the beginning so much because that's coming, a lot of that is just coming from the source image. So I think you get this lighting and you get uh, the details become less important. It's more about the motion and the action. So I think it kind of becomes irrelevant. So let's see. Yeah, maybe it's more detailed with Super Grok. Maybe. And also there is a difference of there's twice as much content on the left as there is on the right. So I just time wise. But again, I think this may be a little too kind of too um not inspired really so much. Just kind of more like what you'd expect. This right here, like they're on the same level. That that's that's good. I think this wins on that from that standpoint. Just the if you want to call it cinematography, the framing of the shots and stuff like that. But yeah, you do have some kind of physics, interact collisions and stuff in both. This one I think has the more memorable one where you see it kind of pushing that tree trunk just flies pushed aside. Yeah, those two, and it's kind of like making its own kind of little opening. Um, I think sound wise, we can go into the sound some more because this I like the I think the music's good in both cases. Roaring, there it goes. Can you go through it again? You can hear the stomps. You can hear when it pushes the trees. Footsteps, not so much. Yeah, there. That's that kind of you know watch your step kind of thing. Okay, so then this one. Whoops. Okay, good sound. Oh, more kind of intense music. It's more kind of there's like this like percussion going on. I think you could say. Okay, again, sound effects. It's like, yeah, good sound there. The roar is a roar. Not so much. 5 seconds is harder to get to it. Yeah, it's harder to get to it. I get that. Okay. So the dinosaur doesn't really roar on the right. Does it need to? No, not necessarily. Did they roar? Who knows? I mean, 65 million years ago or whatever. Um, who knows? Uh, what was I thought? Oh, I guess you can make the case that the one on the right, the Higgsfield, is too stoic as far as expression doesn't change. Where I was kind of complaining about maybe like the pain and discomfort on the left, you see emotions like there. I don't like so much like the pain, like she's got like an injury or something that she's dealing with or whatever. And there, yeah, too like this pain. But at least she's kind of showing like some emotion because there it looks like maybe she's got some fear or some desperation or some, whatever you want to call it. Um which is good. So, I mean, I think that's something that's good in favor of Super Gluck. But I think in general, I think this is a pretty clear. This is like a 10-8 round. But for the stuff that I do normally, I've found that again a lot more experience with Super Gluck. But I think it's for the stuff that I do, which is not a lot, which is not like trying to make like an action movie. Um, Super Grok is great. It's amazing. I love it. And even now, since I bought Higgsfield today, like a subscription, I'm still thinking I still use Superglock like a lot this evening and stuff. So yeah. Other ones I'm not really gonna get into right now. Um, other AIs and whatnot. I think this is plenty. I think obviously other people can do it better. I'm not a film person. I mean, I've watched lots of stuff, but I'm not in the industry or anything like that, anything crazy like that. I don't know the techniques and whatnot. Oh, one thing is maybe last thought here is the whole thing about you don't want your character in the center, right? I mean, to me, that's something I've heard about recently, but it makes sense. Like, you want your character not like right in the center of the screen necessarily, because that's kind of can be boring or whatever, what have you, or especially if it's like the whole movie for like 2 hours straight, like your character is right in dead center in the screen. But then people talk about, well, then you've got like the whole Instagram stuff and TikTok's really more where, if you want your stuff to look good on TikTok, you basically want them in the center. But basically what I'm getting at is they're more in the center in the Higgsfield one, but I don't think there's any kind of, um, downside to it at all because it's so visceral. Like, it's so like right there, like you feel like like it's gonna eat her. So I don't think there's any problem there. Plus, the dinosaur itself on the Higgs field, I'm noticing it comes off of the center line. You know, the kind of strategy on the Super Grok is to stagger them essentially. So there's kind of like the protagonist is on the bottom half of the screen, and the antagonist is in the top half of the screen, so it kind of makes it look taller and more menacing to some degree, but it's maybe a little bit too stiff and kind of too, not as inspired. Maybe it's a little bit too kind of video gamey, kind of too kind of by the book, kind of like your just kind of vanilla kind of uh ideas. But yeah, we're going to give the win to the Higgsfield, which to some degree is nice for me to come to that conclusion because again, I already had Super Grok and use it a ton, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll check out this Kling 3.0 or whatever, and pay some money. And so I want to see some good stuff and see some maybe places where it is better than Super Grok because I'm paying for it. So at least for a little bit, and maybe I cancel, maybe whatever. Anyway, that's probably all I have to say. So thank you.